What's going on, guys and gals of YouTube? It's Rounded, funny name, TikTok here, bringing you probably a very, very important video. After reading through the comments, which is not fun, two things became abundantly clear. The first one, which I want to discredit right now, is a lot of people seem to think I exploited the game or cheated or used an engine or something along those lines to get the gear. And when in fact, all I did was put a ridiculous amount of time into the game like a true gamer. I no-lifed it. I got to where I wanted. I got the gear that I wanted, and I still don't have anything. And I just got the last piece to the bleed set last night at 11 p.m. I'm just playing the game. So believe what you want, but that's the truth. You can watch it on stream. You can do whatever you want. Regardless, forget the haters. The real important part of this video is the other thing that came abundantly clear, which was a lot of people are having issues after challenge tier 10. They can't seem to get to the point to reliably farm the legendary mods you need, which is like Second Quake and the Impale stuff and all of that jazz. So this video is going to be a budget bleed build. All of the footage you see in this video is running the gear I'm about to show you. It includes no legendaries, no legendary mods, no tier 3 mods, I guess would be the proper thing, purple guns, and non-fully attributed armor. Everything I could possibly put together with what I had available. Granted, everything's level 50, so you may struggle a little bit more, but once you watch this video, you'll understand what you're looking for and how to spec your character to be able to do the kind of damage. We're going to go over the build, the weapons, and the armor, and exactly what kind of perks you're looking for while playing until you get some of the better ones. And if you guys enjoy guides, gear, and gameplay, specifically, at least for the moment, for the Devastator, think about subscribing and give the video a like. It really does help out. It really, really does. And we'll be live today over at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. But if you can't catch me today, I stream 4 days a week. We would love to see you over there as well. So with that all being said, let's jump into the budget build guide. So here we are in our blueberry costume. Again, I tried my absolute best to bring down my gear score or bring down my attributes in any way. We are not using any form of legendary armor mods, guns, nothing. It's all purple stuff, all stuff you should be able to buy from vendors and farm. And like I said, once you see it, you'll understand a little better, and I guarantee you'll have better performance up to World Tier 12. Anything past World Tier 12, you probably need a few legendary mods here and there. So the first thing we are going to look at is the weapons. Now, running the game, you're looking for endgame, you're looking for this mod called Fortress. If you don't have this, or you can't find it, or it just won't drop for you, you're going to want to get a weapon like this. So I'm not going to make this a big section, but the weapon attributes, the white passive perks, aren't that big of a deal while you're leveling. Granted, them at max rank is very helpful, but there's not much on a gun that's going to help you all that much. You're basically looking for status power and possibly some form of healing, whether that be weapon life leech or healing received. Beyond that, it's really up to you and what may ever be on the gun. I use the Thunderbird, which has crit damage, and that's pretty much useless to us, but the close range damage and the status power do help. So look for something along these lines in this order. Status power, some form of healing, then we have close range damage or long range damage, then I would say armor piercing and crit damage are probably at the bottom. Those are the white attributes you're looking for. Definitely keep a weapon with status power on it. That's the only one you really need. Here we have just a randomly grabbed submachine gun. All I did to those weapon is buff the stats. The weapon life leech, status power, close range damage. You should have enough weapon attribute shards to max any gun you pick up. But the big thing here is death change plus resistance breaker. Resistance breaker decreases the target's resistances by 35%. Resistances is not armor. It is what they resist to your abilities. So this way, all of our abilities are hitting harder. We also have another 30% in our skill tree, so we're at 65% resistance reduction when they get hit with this. Death Chains, as you know, is a tier 2 mod and is one of the best DPS mods in the game, even competing to some of the tier 3 mods. So you're definitely looking for a weapon like this. A bit of the playstyle that you'll see in the video is me just spraying and praying, trying to knock and hit all of the targets that I possibly can. So when I use my abilities, they have resistance breaker on them. That's the first thing. My swap gun is improved vulnerability bullets and claymore. This allows me to put the debuff on them so my bullets do more damage, and claymore is just a decent burst mod. It's different from damage over time. You can finish off a target really quick with this. If you shoot them with resistance breaker and then swap to this, you'll have vulnerability plus claymore, and it just becomes a decent burst combination of two guns. Again, I just randomly grabbed these out of the store. This is what was available to me, and this is what I just cleared the mission with. If you didn't know, if you're saying, but yeah, Tic Tac, your weapons are level 50, everything scales down to what tier you're playing. So this gun actually isn't doing 6,000 damage, and if you look at the footage, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's doing a lot less. Again, this is for you guys, and hopefully it does help. I did my best with what was available. Next, this is the important part. We have armor here, and the armor, you need specific roles on your armor. And although this is debatable, I feel like the absolute most important role you want on your armor to be able to get from tier 9 to tier like 11 is cooldown reduction. I don't really care what's on the rest of it. I really don't. Just make sure it has cooldown reduction, because that allows you to get 6-second cooldowns on your earthquake, and that's what you're looking for. Like I said, these mods, not all of them are capped out. I didn't do this one, that's not capped. I didn't do this one, that's not capped. This one is capped. These are my actual gloves that I use, and these are the actual boots that I use. I didn't have any other pair to replace them with, so it is what it is, but I didn't do it when I couldn't. This is actually part of the helmet I use as well. So with that being said, now you know to get cooldown reduction as the most important white perk here, passive perk. The other two you're really looking for are anomaly power, which I really don't have much of, anomaly power and status power. These are perfectly rolled gloves. However, the armor is a little low, but I'll lose out on a little bit of armor to get these mods. These white passive perks are very, very intricate to how well your build performs. So make sure you get cooldown reduction, anomaly power, status power. That's what you're looking for, but they are quite hard to find. They're quite rare. They don't drop all the time, but whatever gear you get, make sure to have cooldown reduction on it. It will make your build so much better. Next up, let's talk about the mods you need. Devastator is interesting because you don't really run any of the tier 2 mods. You don't need something like Ash Cleaner. You don't need something like bonus firepower, bonus anomaly power. None of that stuff really applies to Devastator. Since your cooldowns can be incredibly short, you really just want to use all of the mod slots you have available to buff your abilities, which is weird. You may find a spot here and there for an occasional one you can squeeze into the build, or if you don't have boots that are rolled the way you want, sure, you can pull it off. But if you run your gear like this, you should be able to clear all the way up to 12. And you can definitely push into 13 with a partner. After 13, it gets a little hairy. So what mods do we have in our armor? First, we have on our helmet, Bloodshock and a Human Comet. This is actually, I just realized this, I don't even use Comet in this build. I have a complete missing attribute. I didn't touch it. That was a mistake on my part. My bad. But the important ones are here. Bloodshock, this is your bread and butter build for the bleed build. This is what you need the most in any build, is to inflict that bleed damage on a giant cone forward in front of your character. It's the best ability that the Devastator has. Make sure you have that modded somewhere. Onto the chest piece, we have Earthquake, which this skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. On top of this, instead of having the legendary mod that gives us 25% bonus damage to bleeding targets, we take the tier 2 that you should have already, which is just bloody boost, and increase all of our damage by 15%. The next mod you're looking for is Rivers of Blood. Again, I didn't even change these. The reason I put these pants on is I wanted the 5% cooldown reduction. That's the only reason I put these on. Rivers of Blood increases our damage by 50% with Impale if the target is bleeding. Since we have a 6-second cooldown on our Earthquake and Impale bleeds them anyway, they are almost always bleeding. Combine this with Resistance Breaker over here, and the Impale starts to hit really, really hard. Next, we have these gloves. We have Ground Crush, which increases our Earthquake damage, and Sharpened Spike, which increases the skill damage of Spike by 129,000. Again, these stats you're seeing are for level 50, but the game does scale you down when you drop challenge tier. So just keep that in mind. I'm not running around one-shotting anything anytime soon. Lastly, on our boots, we have Impaler. This skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown, and Earth's Legacy increased the skills range by 60%. I know that doesn't seem mandatory. You might want to bring something else for more anomaly power or whatever, but I'm telling you, this will make your life so much better. If you're running Devastator and are having problems, put this in your build and you will not regret it. This is a fantastic mod. Make sure to grab it. But since I didn't even notice these two things were missing, here's a nice little guide. You can screenshot this if you would like to, and you can refer back to it. I'll put everything up in a little template and you guys can check, and I'll include the two mods you would replace on the two that I missed. We're not using Gravity Leap and we're not using Ash Cleaner. So as you can see on the screen now, this is what you're looking for. If you can make your bleed build do something along these lines, you will have a much better time running the harder missions. Next, we're going to take a look at the skills. All we're using is Earthquake, Impale, and Golem. Nothing fancy here. And then once we get into the skill tree, you'll see why we have Golem. We went down to the skill tree here. You can screenshot this if you would like to. Anomaly power. We have Paladin here, and then we also took Unending Watch. This is why we are running Golem. It gives us a 45% bonus anomaly damage for 10 seconds after we activate it. So we use it before boss fights, or we use it before big packs of enemies that we know we need to kind of like one-shot. Then we have Pure Anomaly, Anomaly Reservoir. We take Stone Circle. The reason we take Stone Circle is because of this mod here. Blood Donation. You are healed for 25% of your bleed damage. This heals you constantly. It like tickle heals you. But since we have this, when this kills them and they're far away, you'll still get the big heal as if they were close range. That is the combination of perks and why they work together. We skip out here on Red Rivers. We do not need bleed duration, and then we just grab the rest of these perks here. You can see what they can do. Make sure you do grab the resistance piercing. You only have 2 skill points for it, and it's very hard to get more. The last thing to mention, the absolute last thing to mention, is positioning in the map. This can only be achieved with practice, but whatever map you're doing, learn the spawn points. You need to hit as many enemies as humanly possible with your Earthquake. It A, keeps you sustained, and B, you only have 2 of them at this point, so you need to make sure they both hit because it'll kill most of the trash mobs that spawn. So work on your positioning and find out the spawn points. That's the skill tree. Those are the mods you should be looking for. Those are the weapons you should be looking for, and what kind of mods to roll on them. All non-legendary, no tier 3 mods. This is what can get you to the end game, guaranteed. It did it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Tic Tac out.